Hello everybody, today I will be showing you how to use an array to find the area of an object. So before we get started, I want to make sure that we know all of the basics. So first, what is area? Area is the amount of space taken up by an object. In other words, it's how much space an object takes up. We can usually find the area of an object by taking its length and multiplying it by its width. So let's do a quick example with this rectangle. So let's say that the length of this rectangle is 3 inches and the width of this rectangle is 2 inches. So what does that mean? This means that the area of this rectangle specifically is going to be equal to the length, which is 3, times the width, which is 2. In other words, the area is equal to 6. So something that we want to make sure we remember is that area is in units squared, which means that the area wouldn't be just 6 inches. It would be 6 inches squared. So now let's talk about an array. What is an array? An array is a group of objects, pictures, or numbers that are put into equal columns and rows. We're going to look at arrays more on the next slide, so I just want to make sure we know the difference between a row and a column first. So a row goes side to side, sideways, horizontal, whichever one you prefer to remember. And a column goes up and down or vertical. So now let's apply this. Here we have an array of boxes. What exactly does an array show us? So an array tells us the area of an object by using smaller versions of this object to make up the single object. That doesn't make any sense, but I'm going to explain it. So as you can see, all of these boxes are actually in a box shape, which means in one box there are this many boxes. That this many boxes makes up this one box that we're trying to find. In other words, or well, in a picture, that one box is the same thing as this box we see here. So let's try and figure out what are the measurements of this box. So let's look at the rows and the columns to find this out. So here we see let's change the color first. There's 1 column, 2 columns, 3 columns, and 4 columns. And there's 1 row, 2 rows, and 3 rows. So what exactly does that mean in terms of the measurements? This means that this box is 3, let's do inches again, 3 inches wide and 4 inches in length. So there's 3 different approaches you can take to solving this. I'm going to show you all 3. So the first approach would be multiplication, which means you would simply just do that like we did on the other side, that the length times the width, which would give us 12 inches. Can't forget to square it. Now, the next thing we could do is column addition, which means that we know that this is 1, 2, 3. There's 3 boxes in each column. So if we take this idea and we put it here, this is 3 plus 3 plus 3 plus 3. Now we would solve. 3 plus 3 is 6, 6 plus 3 is 9, and 9 plus 3 is 12. Either way, we still get 12. The last thing we can do is just actual counting. So we have these first three initial boxes that we've already counted, so now we'll continue. So we have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. At the end of the day, either method you do, you will still get that the area of this box is 12 inches squared. So let's do another one. So this time the array is pretzels, because arrays can be any object. It doesn't just have to be a box. So in this same way, this is telling us that this one pretzel is made up of however many smaller pretzels this is. So now let's find its area. We're going to do the same thing that we did earlier. Let's count the columns and the rows. There's 1 column, 2 columns, 3 columns. There's 1 row, 2 rows, and 3 rows. What does this mean? That the width is 3 inches and the length is 3 inches. So now you can take any approach that you prefer to figuring out what the area is, but I'll still do all 3 methods. So first, we could just do 3 inches times 3 inches, length times width, is equal to 9 inches squared. Now, if you prefer the column addition, we can do there's 1, 2, 3, there's 3 plus 3 plus 3, which still gives you 9. Or if you want to keep going, we have our 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. So now that we have this, are we right? Let's check. And there you go. So now that we know that this one pretzel has an area of 9 inches squared,